Welcome back to the channel, my friends. We're in the great state of Kansas. We are in the great state of Kansas. Okay? The World Cup is going on. William's got a lot of stuff to do, but today we're going to talk about languages. We're going to talk exactly about something that has changed everything for me with language learning. I've said it once on the channel, but some people don't want to listen. To focus, slow down, repeat, and hone in on exactly what it is that you are doing is going to change everything for you in language learning. Let's go. All right, so we've made many a video on the fact that you need to slow down. We've made many a video on what you need to do reading and writing, etc. These all revolve around one central point, which is if you know exactly how you're going to use the language at the beginning, this is going to change how quickly you move and have some form of fluency, all right? This is the central tenet upon artificial immersion, all right? Because immersing yourself does not mean that you are in a sea of absolutely everything. We all know within generally any endeavor on earth, if you just try and do everything, you're not going to do anything well, all right? And at the beginning, it's very important that you guys pick up these wins. To make this more concrete, let's take a foreigner who is moving to the US and trying to learn English. They're going to be working in a restaurant. You immediately understand that this is your central piece you are going to be needing to understand how to express yourself, where you're from, what you're doing, all of these things. You're going to make sure that you understand restaurant vocab. Now, as I've said before, you do not just want to take a list of words. I am against flashcards in and of themselves just because I think that there is a better way for you to assimilate words, and we're going to talk about that here in a second, all right? And so the general idea is that people think, all right, I'm going to grab these words. I'm going to memorize these words, and then I'm going to be able to throw them out in a sentence in the middle of stress when I'm on my restaurant shift. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. We know that this doesn't work. We have plenty of the research using rote memory to then translate that into spoken speech. It doesn't work that well. All right. So those of you going out with the flashcards, it's great for that first initial thing. It gives you a feeling that you're making some form of progress. And I know that structure is the thing that everyone is seeking when they're trying to learn a language, because it's an absolute show with all of the different programs and all the different things that you need. And a language is complex. A language is huge. In your own native language, you don't know all the words, and you have certain competences, and that's what you're trying to seek out and trying to get right now with this. So first things first, you understand that you're going to the restaurant. You understand that there's going to be a list of 100 important words and 100 important verbs that you're going to be needing. I need to clean. I want water, this, that, and the other. You have to understand. Now you need to put yourself in this world. And the way that you put yourself in this world is where we have had all of our success and all of our students, because we want to immerse you in a world that is the same as if you were like, those of you that are not a science fiction fans, I'm not necessarily myself, but you know that when you go to watch Harry Potter, Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever, any of these things, they put you in a world that's so immersive that you believe it's real. You assume things that are real in their world. And that's what you have to do. And you do this by creating stories, all right? Watching videos, listening to podcasts, and creating things, because now we have AI, and the greatest use of AI is for you to create a world for yourself, all right? The traditional method, the one that you know and seen, is not customized to you. What we do in our programs and what we teach for you to do is to create a customized world for yourself. Now, to assimilate these words, you're going to have to, and there's a car driving. Do they not see that I'm filming? They don't see that I'm filming? In order for you to assimilate these words, what you have to do, and one of the best things that you can do, is create these stories, because stories live in your head. When you're told a story, when you remember a story, you're remembering certain pegs. You might not remember each detail, but you will remember that this guy went to the store, somebody punched him in the face, a fight broke out, and then they got back home, all right? You will remember the order of the story, and that's what you're seeking to do at the beginning of language learning, all right? And so what we make sure that you do is that you take those 100 verbs, the restaurant, fork, knife, spoon, waiter, boss, whatever, all those things, to order, etc. You have to mix those into a story, all right? A story that you're going to read, a story that you're going to memorize then, all right? And then in your head, and then regurgitate. The plan to engage in artificial immersion is one in which you are going to push yourself. You have to be working at the beginning. And this is why some people feel, I don't like, can you just give it to me? Can you just hand it to me? No, I could say that. I could say, buy the program and you do it. No, you're going to have to put in the work. You are going to have to work, because if you want it to stick, that's how it works. You know that along with life, no one just hands you anything. You have to put in the work. The more work you put in, the more attention, all right, and intensity you put into this, the more you get out of it, and the easier it is for you to remember those words, right? And so we also have to research for that. If you make up a story, if all those things, your retention will be better than if I make up the story and hand it to you and then make you memorize it. We know this through the research, right? So I never bore you guys with all the weird scientific nonsense that I do. Maybe one of these videos, I'll get really technical so you guys can actually see the library and what we do, you know. As a matter of fact, we're having Laura Spinney, I believe is her last name. She's somebody who studied the origins of the Proto-Indo-European language. She's going to be on the podcast here, so you guys can check out for that, I think, in the next couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks. All right, for those of you that like to geek out on that stuff, that's going to be an amazing interview. It'll kind of teach you and get you an understanding of how and why you think the way you do, how language is developed. So just make sure to check that out. I'm trying not to get destroyed by wasps or hornets here. I don't know, guys, but listen, okay, and this is just a small public service announcement. Like, do you know how nice it is outside? What is wrong with our society? We're going to put chips in our brains, dude, and we have. I feel like I complain about this all the time. You guys realize that this channel is just me talking, right, and also helping you learn a language. All right, so just bear with me when I lose my mind about the fact that we all spend our time inside with blue light, and most of the food is not food anymore. Also. So essentially what we're doing today is that we're creating stories. These stories are going to serve as your pegs and your marker for living in that world that you are eventually going to meet in the real world. You are then going to have to be at the restaurant, talk to the people, and pull it out. One thing that I've noticed, especially for Western learners, those people that are coming from the US, the UK, with not a lot of other language learning experience, is that they don't understand how this translates. All right, so when you learn a story and when you have all these things flowing in your head, you don't understand when you are in that situation how it's going to come up. You think, because school has trained us to think that it's a complete structured program. I learn the word, all right, I learn another word, I learn how it's conjugated, and then immediately I'm able to regurgitate out. It does not work. Your brain does not work like that. It works more of a supercomputer that's able to make connections in the weirdest ways possible, which is why context matters, which is why when you're creating this story, the first thing you're going to do is keep everything in present tense. You keep everything in present tense. I do this, I get fork, I give man food, right? It's all this, it's all that, right? Then on your next story, you want to change that and just relax, all right? The biggest thing you have to do is relax. Don't try to memorize while you are reading these stories, while you're listening to these stories, because of course, when you're going to jumble them up or use AI, whether it's Gemini, ChatGPT, anything, any one of these, or if you're creating them yourself, if you're at that level, the intermediate level, where you can create a story, right? And then regurgitate this, right? Relax. Read the present tense one. Read the past tense one. Read the first person one. Read the third person one. This is how you do that, because what happens is that you are assimilating all of that crap, but you don't realize that you are. As you're reading and as you're then putting the reading down, it takes you 5 minutes or 10 minutes, something like this. No stories that are going to take you a year, an hour, 30 minutes, nothing like that. Let's be real. Nobody's doing that. All right. But if you can get this 5 to 10 minute story, read it, put it down, regurgitate that, and then go back. All right. Read the first person, third person, as I've said, present, past, future, all versions of these, all taking that same list of 100 words, because this is the key. Stop trying to move on. Stop trying to move forward. We want to simply make sure that we have all of our words over and over again with different contexts and different pegs, and that's what's going to do it. All right. So hopefully you've taken something out of this video right here. All right, my friends. We will talk more about this for sure. We will do more structured videos. It's just, who doesn't want to be outside talking about languages? Enjoy your life, my friend. We will see you guys in the next one.